Our understanding is that the Irish Cabinet has now agreed on that plan to move the country to level 5 restrictions, Ireland operating a 5-tier system. So this is moving it to the maximum set of restrictions. However, it is important to note that there are some key differences between what will come into effect, we understand, from midnight on Wednesday for a period of 6 weeks and what we saw in the initial lockdown back in the spring. For example, it is our understanding that the government intends to keep schools in Ireland open, as well as childcare facilities, elite sports, so like the Gaelic football championships here in Ireland, and horse racing will still be able to take place. And we understand as well that protections will be put in place for industries like construction in an attempt to protect some of the key economic sectors in Ireland. So it won't be an exact replica of the sort of harsh lockdown that we saw in March right through to mid-May. It is, however, very much the maximum set of restrictions pretty much the Irish government has at its disposal at the moment. And you have to remember, it was only 2 weeks ago that the Irish government under Micheál Martin declined the expert public health advice to move to level 5. Tonight, that looks like a serious error in judgment, because just 2 weeks later, with cases spiralling, new record cases being set 4 times in the last week, they are now forced to acquiesce to that advice and move Ireland to level 5 with some exceptions, as I just mentioned, for a period of 6 weeks. So this will last right through November up until December the 1st, although we also understand that there will be a review carried out after a 4-week period. So if the data is promising enough and supports it, we could see that lockdown come to a close maybe a bit earlier than the 6-week period. The goal clearly is to try and save Christmas here in Ireland. For retailers, for the hospitality sector, the expectation is that this will sufficiently constrict that rising trend in case numbers in time to not perhaps open up fully the country, but to certainly drop down a couple of levels for the Christmas period. So just to recap, level 5 restrictions with a few exceptions. Things, for example, like keeping the schools open, keeping construction going, will kick in from midnight on Wednesday here in Ireland. That means people will have to stay at home. It means the pubs and restaurants will be restricted only to delivery or takeaway services. People will have to stay within a distance of their home on the pain of being fined by the Gardaí, the Irish police. We believe that will be set at a 5-kilometre radius. So it does make Ireland somewhat of an outlier in European terms. Really, you'd have to look to places like the Czech Republic and Israel to find similar restrictions at the moment. It's been met with dismay by restaurateurs, hoteliers, publicans, and retailers. All non-essential retail will have to close as well under this plan. So a really drastic move by the Irish government, which, as I said, just a fortnight ago rejected this course of action. But from midnight on Wednesday, Ireland will be going back to what approaches a full lockdown, if not quite.